I'm not going to say a lot here, except that I'm not alone. And this is part of my journey. This is my walk. This is part of why I came to live. This is what I mapped out in my blueprint. So fear not. Worry not. Now, sometimes I get stressed because I can't stand people who are so brainwashed. So I phoned the social worker this morning to say I've made a decision to take a taxi by myself into the hospital at 8:30, and to please have a translator, English translator, at the hospital for me, because they are confusing all sorts of disease names. They have told me I have rectum cancer. They told Frank I have cervical cancer. I don't know who these people are that are talking to him, but they are not doctors, and why they just told him I had cervical cancer, I don't know. Because they told me that they... Bonjour. So what's happened is the staff, the Quebec civil servants, are utterly brainwashed to accept the program that they were educated to accept. And they have no idea about comfort in a hospital, or healing, actually, for that matter. None. They have no clue. They're just going about their daily work without thinking, where people are sitting in hallways, freezing to death, not allowed water, dehydrated, hours upon hours, and then maybe they get a doctor. But I know I had to undergo some pretty humiliating treatments in this hospital. And, you're brainwashed too, to go along with it. So today I've just been refusing everything. I just want the x-ray and go home with pain management. And if I die, I die. I have no fear about that. But they want you to. See, especially them. But more importantly, I really learned something about Frank today. Yeah, he's with the Jesus. And Trevor is working through him. But in spirit, I think Frank's dead. His spirit's gone. And his ego is there, though. And his ego worships Jesus. And it's like a walking, talking Jesus worshiper. And that's why he helps me financially. He's not doing it through spirit, guys. Sorry. No, I say sorry to myself because I thought he was. I thought maybe his spirit was better than his ego. And it's the opposite with some people. It's the ego. The ego is emotion. It's ruling the spirit. But something entered into Frank and began ruling his ego with his spirit. And I know it's Trevor. I know it. Or a spirit guide, I don't know. The 78 is the number. Frank's last two digits, and his phone number is 78. So I know these things when I get codes. I look at a number and suddenly I know what it means. And I can't explain it. I live on the 5th level. The word didn't exist before I did. This is new. The word is new. It's so new. We work with numbers. And we're telepathic. And we have feelings. And we're not robots. But I didn't get a translator. This woman I phoned yesterday to help me. Oh, so syrupy. It's the syrupy ones I love the most. Oh, yes, I will help you. Let me. But what she did was everything the opposite to what I asked. Everything opposite to what I asked. I had phoned her this morning and told her that I am taking a taxi to the hospital. I only want an x-ray so that I can get pain management from a doctor at home. But they get big bonuses, you see, if you bring them into the hospital, make a big kerfuffle, and pay for these people's wages, right? These ones that are not nurses are big people sitting at the desks with sweatsuits on, and some of them have Halloween costumes on that would scare anybody. But, so I get here, and she said, well, no, I didn't get here. Somebody showed up at my house at 8:30. Is some sort of social worker or interpreter, she said. But she's not there for me. She just wanted to let me know that there's going to be, that she got my message and they're going to call an ambulance. I said, well, that's not what I said on my message. And I said, no, I'm going to take a taxi. Can you drive me there? And she said, whoa, I'll get a different interpreter. And I said, well, where? Like, what? Why? It was just so confusing. She was twisting everything. So the one that showed up my door. So I said, I'm going to the hospital by taxi and I want an x-ray and come home. And she went outside to make a phone call. And 10 minutes later, the ambulance shows up. Yeah, they get bonuses. Did I mention that? And these employees that they have programmed get bonuses. And they don't know what's going on. They don't know what comfort is. They don't know people in pain should not be treated like this. They don't know that because they're stupid. They're educated. Educated are the most retarded people. They're reptiles now. Without a spirit. You going by ego, no spirit? By bon chance et hell. They'll be stuck. And this time, this life, it's really gonna suck. You think things have been getting better in life? No, hell's getting worse. Crossing over is going to be a real fun time for the zombies. Fun time. The only costumes I've seen for Halloween is a guy with brains hanging out of his head and a woman with rabbit ears. Isn't that apropos? That's apropos to me. You know what that means? Yes, my subscribers do. Appropriate considering what they are. Yeah, but it's a journey, and there's a blueprint for me waiting, and there are spirit guides waiting, and they're with me, and they're also working through people too. I just don't know who right now, but it will work out and unfold fine. It's just me and my thinking, because I'm still here. I have 1 foot on the ground on earth, and I have that ego and imagination, and I know what they're capable of. And I don't like suffering, in all honesty. I just like to get out of here. But odds are I'm going to go home and all this pain's going to go away. And it was just my guide's way letting me know they wanted me to come in and check. And do another observation of human behavior. And the key is, I looked at the woman in the eye, the one that came to my door this morning. And I think the reason why I don't have an interpreter here now, because none ever showed up, is because I told her what I thought of her, personally, for working there, taking money, so that she could easily turn a blind eye to what they're doing. That money has blinded her. And our eyes connected at that moment. I saw her beams, those beams? I saw them click. I know I affect people with the truth. I affect everybody when I tell the truth. I just really hate it. And she wasn't the same after I did that. But I was very calm. And I just said, you are taking money and bonuses to follow orders and to look the other way. Don't tell me you're not. And don't lie to me. They're always taking shots at attempting to lie. Yeah, can't lie to me anymore, guys. Can't lie. I'm in spirit. mostly. Oh yes, my ego's in the way too. But I'm more in spirit than anything right now. I have no pain right now, honestly, none. I'm sitting in a chair. I'm out of breath. I can't walk. Exercise is terrible. So you just sit here, you say. And 2.5 hours. No, 3.5. I don't know. And if they had it their way, I wouldn't have had a drink yet either. Because she told me, this social worker, before any ambulance, before any doctor, the social worker tells me, don't eat or drink anything. A social worker. They're all working for the same outfit, Satan. Why do you dehydrate people that are sick, bitch? Is that in your program? You get extra dollars for that? Okay. Before I begin, I just want you to see this art. You know, I was never an artist. I was over in the left brain. So when I got to Quebec, I just wanted to just finger paint. And whenever I did, I'd just go into a trance. I wouldn't even think, and I didn't care if it was as ugly as hell. And I didn't know what any of them meant until long after I'd done the art. And it turns out every single piece I did had deep meaning. You know, one of the first gifts my grandmother ever gave me was an octagon, 2 octagon frames with the boy and the girl, like the blue boy and the pink girl in each one. I cherished any gift I got from my grandmother. I am a reflection of her, and I knew it. And I had these canvases. I have no idea why I bought them, what I was going to paint on them at the time I bought them. And I had no idea I would put them one on top of the other. And why? Why did I put them one on top of the other? And what does it mean? I know now. I know about the Great Resets. I believe that right now we're in the top octagon there. But beyond us are other civilizations we have lived through. Like on the other side of the Arctic Circle, I would imagine. Which is round, like our round Earth. Flat Earth. There is so much oil and water for us. It's unbelievable how we've been raised to lack. Yeah, I didn't understand those, the diamonds either. That represents ice. After it's reset, the sun doesn't shine there anymore. I've seen some videos where they did explorations, and I think they know all about this. And I think they're just scrambling to get rid of as many people as possible, to keep them here in a reincarnation trap, and it won't be good next time. So I'm going to talk about beyond my health thing. I'm on a journey to talk about what I talk about. Why we keep losing ourselves. It's because we are born pure. We are born of a Christ flame of love, joy, laughter, and the emotional consciousness of Christ. We're born like that. You know, babies, infants. And we're caught in a reincarnation trap because um, inhuman people, or half people, I don't know, are ruling the world. Now, I have another theory on that too. I had this theory right from the beginning too, and that is the fallen stars here, the ones that are destroying humanity, think that it's already too late for them. You know, the ones that do the worst of the worst in the world, you know, torturing babies and lying to the masses through the media, crimes against humanity. And they go through rituals to become rich and famous, and they're told, they're educated with the Jesuit Jesus. They're educated with Satan, and are told that because they have to do these initiations, they have to go out and do this, or sacrifice a son, or sacrifice a wife. If you do that, it's already too late for you, but if you do that, you're going to be in with the good here on earth in the New World Order. You see, they are planning a New World Order. And the New World Order will be a combination of Jesuit Jew communism and worship, because they're working together this time. They're working together. There is not two teams. The tables have turned, and while the Jesuits and Jews were fighting and the imperial palace got shot up in 1918 by the Bolsheviks, it's after that they got together, because one side convinced the other side that they're stuck here forever anyway now. And maybe they have proof of the reincarnation. They know, I know they know. That's what I know. David Icke knows. And so they know. And maybe even David Icke thinks that this reincarnation trap is it's powerless. Nothing he can do. He probably all fucked up big time. Well, I tell the fallen stars it is not too late. But what happens is they die and they go invisible, and they may see loved ones, people who have crossed over, who are earthbound. There are earthbound spirits everywhere. And all of these earthbound spirits must be reincarnated or just stay forever. As you know, you can be born into any vessel you want. You really can. But you cannot go home with the consciousness of Satan here. Like, you can't take this emotional bullshit home. But worse than that, this is those spirits on the other side are convincing. Maybe you'll see your loved one and you'll love them because you're Christ. Don't forget that. And you always return to the flame of Christ. So you're invisible, you're flame of Christ, but you don't know it. So you're all dark, and then you see somebody you love and know, and they convince you to go with them. And then that would mean that you're going to be born again into the family. The other thing that there is some media talking about all over the place, I see it everywhere. They're training people to not go to the light when they cross over, that's causing the reincarnation trap. Well, through my story, Trevor was a ghost for 5 years, from 2003 when he died trapped in flames until 2008 when I told him to go to the light, that I would be okay. He was emotionally bound to me. Somebody emotionally bound him to me. So then in 2016, he came back with these golden beams of light, and they were as real as me. They were there. And they told me everything. They downloaded, but it's too much. I said, I'm not going to remember. It's too much. Wait, can I take notes? And I couldn't move. And they said, be prepared. So we're in a reset, is the gravity of the situation. And my best intention is to help people learn beyond the 3D matrix and face the truth. People hate the truth. Truth is used as a weapon, like they used on me today, right? She gaslights what I want. They pretend they don't understand. Well, although it's the English government that came, they pretend they don't understand, so they mix things up and get confused. And you're supposed to be okay with that. But they're not. They're not confused at all. They've learned how to manipulate people into believing their lies. And so when I looked at that young woman in the eyes today, in the beam to beam, and I saw her something snapped a picture of me in her beam. It snapped a picture of me. And as I was talking to her, I said, you know, you're getting a lot of pay, much more than you ever did in your life. And I believe you're being paid to look the other way and to be blind to suffering and to go by policies and books that defy all things healthcare. And that's how I said it to her too. I was not mean. But that's why she called the ambulance. She went running outside, called the ambulance, and ran away. And then Catherine didn't send me, the other social worker that said she would send me a translator, did not call me, did not send a translator, completely abandoned me. The truth is a weapon, and they feel quite comfortable. They're zombies, guys. They're walking, talking, robotic zombies, and you've got to be very careful with anything you buy. I fell for this thing about 2 weeks ago where they have these foot pads. You know, black toxins come out of your body if you put these foot pads on the heels of your, or the soles of your feet. And they demonstrated by taking that off, the white gauze, and showing that in the morning it'll be pure black. And it was, you can see it's all pure black. Oh my God, look at all the toxins coming out of her body. Oh, and I fell for it. You see, I still got a foot in earth here. I wasn't, or maybe I did it so that I could communicate to you, because I caught on to it as soon as they arrived. There's a graphene in it, and sweat activates the black in the pad that you put on your sole of your feet. And I could see that it, like, I only had it on for about an hour, and I could see it coming up. It's like, and you know, I already told you, hydrogen peroxide. A guide told me to watch this video from 1940 or something, where they were saying, a doctor was saying that they use hydrogen peroxide on the skin. It seeps through the skin, not just on cuts and sores, but it seeps through your skin, and it is it's a healer. It's oxygen and water. It somehow really helps me with my bone pain and my swollen glands. It really helps, and it's just hydrogen peroxide, 3%. You can get it at any drugstore. I found out through that what you put on your skin seeps through into your body. And I remember an argument on Facebook I had way long ago, 2015, when I wasn't even awoke yet. I never liked sunblock. I could not smear that stuff on me. I could put oil on me, but I could not put that on me. So I mentioned that or something. I said, you know, they're not letting the kids in the pools without life jackets anymore. They're not allowed their floaties in the pool. I had a pool at the time at this Copper Sky I lived at. The grandkids aren't allowed to have any toys. They have to wear life jackets. and they have to be smeared with all this white goo, and they have to wear clothes. That's what I saw at the pool. And I went on Facebook and I said, this is just fucking ridiculous. And the lady and her 50 followers of hate of the truth all beat me up. All of them. They had, because they're right, because it's in the books. And it's the government said, and we learned. So they're all right. They're communists. They're all right. And I'm a crazy bitch. Be very careful what you put on your skin. And if you see that foot pad, don't buy it. I wouldn't buy bottled water right now either. You know how they tell you don't drink tap water? It's got poison in it? David Artis? Yeah, no, he's a red-headed one. They are telling the truth, but they are alternative truth too. They pretend to be your friend. That's how these Jews and Jesus go back and forth, to support one another. But they do. They're supporting one another. They are not fighting one another. But they make you think so. If you watch BitChute or YouTube, you'll see, it's either the Jews or the Jesus. Huge fights. Nope, they're working together. And somehow we've got to convince people, university graduates, nurses, doctors, and actors, we've got to convince them that it's not too late. But it is too late if they die. It's way, way, way too late if they die. Yeah, I know they tell you, no, it's okay until after you die and then you have a choice and you go to judgment and blah, blah, blah. No. Nobody can save you from your own life movie. And what's going to happen when you see your own life movie is you're going to want to come back and make it right. You really will. You know why? Because you're a Christ flame. When you're not in ego. And I don't want you to want to come back. I don't want you to regret nothing. I want you to have a party. I want you to love and eat the strawberries and play. And feel joyful. And if you die and dwell in that state. Dwell in the state of mind that you want to stay in forever. That's what we do. So if you're still dwelling in ego, where you fancy fantasies and money and temples, and it's all okay with you, even after you see your movie, you have to understand, because you're blaming yourself and you're ashamed of yourself. They want you to be ashamed, because then you'll want to come back. I don't care if you did I don't care if you drink baby blood. Freaking go to the light, okay? And that's where the decision, don't make, I'm talking to people as if you're already dead, I know, but you will, and you'll find we don't die. And I hope you remember me. I really hope you remember that you are a Christ flame and you belong with the light, or you belong here. And they keep saying about the population and how big it is. I just heard Adapt on BitChute say, he's a groomer, right? Adapt is a groomer. He's got bald. He's got lots of followers like they all do. And he appears to be our best friend, working for one side or the other. I can't remember right now. But he always has something to sell too. They all do. They have gold, supplements, all sorts of things to sell you. And any of them that are doing that are selling you a bill of goods to keep you here. They're paid. They're getting too much money to turn it down. And really, the only way to recover your soul is to rebuke money and to walk away from temptation. That's the only way. I'm sure Jesus mentioned something like that. I'm sure of it. You gotta avoid the temptation and walk away. I know what money's like. I know how tempting it is. I never got any money. I made a lot of employers rich, very rich, but I didn't get any reward for that. They'll take your ideas, your right brain, and suck it dry if they can get away with it forever. But people are in a trance and unable to see the harm. And I think Jesus also said, they know not what they do. But this time is a reset time. It's 2023. And I am understanding that this is a reset. There will be a reset. I knew when Trevor died trapped in flames, it was an omen. And I also know that the promise was that there wouldn't be any more floods, where Noah's Ark is taking you know Noah's Ark. I'm going to talk about Noah's Ark now. I believe in that story. I never even looked at it. It's stupid. But now I do. That's a true story. It's not exactly the way they have depicted it, but it is a true story. And I believe Noah's Ark is a ship with sails that is important to my story, my blueprint. Because I collect dimes. Ever since Trevor died, dimes are showing up everywhere. And yesterday, Frank got a dime. And he took a picture of it and he showed me. And it's with the blue face up again. The ship, face up. There's something about a ship that is going to save some people. There is. I have that feeling. I have other artwork that shows a ship saving other people. But not everybody. You have to live in the truth, and you have to know who you are. And that would have been impossible for Trevor and I, this life. It would have been impossible to see it all. When you're in a trance, you can't see because you can't feel. Feelings are the truth, is how you get around. There's something I was going to add to that, but I can't remember what. Now, I feel a lot better. It's Halloween night. I'm waiting for kids to walk by, but I'm not going to give out any candy. I'm not going to celebrate their 3 holidays. What do they get? 3 holidays a year? They get or fun times like Easter. Decorate the eggs, Easter egg hunt. Now that means turning to stone again. Easter Island, think more like that. Or Halloween, where you can wear Satan and nobody cares and everybody loves you more. The more satanic, the better. Or Christmas, where you get children to believe in Santa Claus instead of their own parents, instead of the love of gift between parent and child, and that kind of want to give your child, and your child so happy because you're not a communist who only celebrates once a year, or birthdays too. Come on. I always looked forward to gift giving at birthdays more than any other. Not Christmas, you know what? I loved birthday parties better. The gifts came from my little friends, from their heart. It just meant so much more to open up a wrapped gift. Or no, we torture children, and we give them, a couple of days a year, and expect life to go on. I see this. I'm going to change tracks again. I see this YouTube guy called Nick and what's his wife's name? Jeff and Nick, I think. And he does these driving around Southern America and Eastern America. He just drives. And he's got his video camera on showing little towns around, right? All little towns around America. And he's showing how the population is like a quarter of what it was at the peak. Do we still have 9 billion people, Bill Gates? Or has this genocide been going on for 100 years? Using healthcare. The opposite of love. Who knows? The only thing that anybody can ever rely on is your own senses. And my senses are screaming very loudly that I wish people knew how gorgeous they are when they are in the Christ spirit and they don't carry baggage. They don't carry hatred. They don't carry greed. They don't carry selfishness. I remember when my brother, my older brother, who's still alive, he got involved in crack addiction and then homeless. It's so sad. He's a soul sucker. Today, like I kept reaching out to him when he was homeless, but he ignored me and blocked me and blah, blah, blah. Well, he's got a story in his head about me. And it's emotionally strong, an emotionally strong story in his head about me. And it happened when his daughters were 3 and 2, I think. Yeah, 3 and 2 years old. And he was not hanging around with good creatures. My brother was involved in drugs, and he was not hanging around with good people. But there's my cousins come over there, Randy and Dale. And Dale is a convicted one, his 5-year-old stepdaughter. And Randy appears to be asexual. I mean, he doesn't like men or women. And he gets away with that. Their older brother, Ralph, graduated from UBC and is a high school teacher for boys, grade 6. But after he graduated, and in his dorms, he lived with a pedophile. In his dorms. An older man in his dorms. But these people are living out normal lives. Nobody knows. Nobody knows fuck all. My brother, that's what I was saying. My sister, actually, the psychopath, the one that directs everybody, right? You've always got a psychopath creating the chaos, and that's my sister. So she phones me up, and she tells me a story, and she knows I'm a counselor, and she knows I accused her stepfather of that. And she decided to phone me up and tell me that Randy and Dale went over to my brother's house, and Cassie came to the door, my little 3-year-old niece, came to the door and saw Randy. And when she saw him, she ran to her bedroom and got a Barbie doll. And she took the clothes off the Barbie doll and she gave it to Randy. And she said, play with this. Not me. And they didn't get it. They phoned Charmaine. And Charmaine phoned me to stir me and my emotions up, for my emotional reaction, which I had none, because I knew I would be in trouble with Les if I did. So I actually had a friend call social services to get it checked out. And it was unfounded, the social worker said. And at that moment, I lost my brother. That's when I lost my brother. I wasn't invited to his wedding. They hadn't been married yet. I wasn't, he was barely civil to me until my mother died. And then that was it. So the truth is the weapon. The truth. And you've got to know these things before you cross over, to know that the lies run deep. And the only soul to know is your own. You know the difference between right and wrong. And you know who you are. You remember what it was like as a child to be in joy and in love and loving your mother, your Creator. And I'm sorry it all got lost, and I'm sorry I got lost. But it wasn't too late for Trevor. And he went to the light. I am positive that they were trying to keep him here, and he was confused. And all he needed was my permission so that he could feel free. And they brought him back. And I feel so strongly that he's part of my blueprint, because he's the one in 1991 that told me this is a simulation and we blueprint out our lives. We know where we're going. What we're doing. He didn't say all that. He just said it's simulation and we do roles. But I'm telling you that's the now. That's the meat of the simulation. That it's a fantasy, it's a dream that we go back and wake up to. And then we want to repeat it. Repeat, wash and repeat until we get it right. Well, I hope people are starting to get it right as they listen to me. I'm not talking to you about my story for my sake. I'm talking to you about my story for humanity's sake, because the agenda is to wipe out the population. And they have covered our earth with this bad energy, electricity, smart energy, right? I told you, it's always the opposite. Smart energy. And the poison. You know the snake symbol on all the UN and the medical, and the badge on the paramedic had a snake symbol with the Wi-Fi, with the energy, electricity. You know, the I can't articulate the words, but look at a paramedic's badge in Quebec. And that's the formula to get rid of us. It's so out in the open. And so oblivious are the people. David Artis, that doctor, the chiropractor, said poisons in the water. Well, he also said that venom is what was in the you-know-what. That is what they found. Cobra and other species. That's what they found. So they give you truth. But then they're going to tell you to go drink some tap water because it's got metal in it and it'll help with the Wi-Fi. Believe it or not, that's the formula. And we have to be very careful not to buy into stories that we don't know anything about. Gossip. And you know what? Anybody who's ever gossiped to you and told you stories about someone else, I'd fucking run for the hills. You are with a monster. I can't sit around making up stories about people, and I can't sit around discussing people and their private affairs with contempt. It's not part of who I am. But if somebody can, they're trying to distract from a truth. And I'm telling you, we have to stay in the truth. And listening to gossip and the word of others or the media, that's all artificial. That is not your truth. You have to know people and feel people. Like all of my nieces, they know nothing other than my love. That's all they know. But they hate me because of the word of their parents. And for that, I ask them to remember me. I don't know what's going to become of them. I really don't. But the world's being reset. And they are being left behind. And I don't know what the population will be when they come back. Or if they'll be half snake, half person. I don't know. It's all artificial. But the spirit's going to want to go somewhere. Your spirit wants to go somewhere. But it can't go home. Unless it's in the truth.